Hey, this is Jordan here. A couple weeks ago, I sent out an email asking you what your biggest challenge was parenting a teen. We had a couple responses, so I'm going to answer one of them now. One mom wrote, the question was, how do I stay connected to the heart of my teen, even though he or she is totally off the deep end with unacceptable choices? Great question. That's a great question. It's a challenge to stay connected and continue building that relationship when your teen is just making horrible choices, when they're violent, when they're aggressive, when they're I don't know, maybe they're sexually active, or maybe it's as simple as they started smoking cigarettes. I don't know what your situation is, um, but when you subscribed to the newsletter, you had an opportunity to watch an interview, and this interview was when I was talking to my mom about what was going on back in the day, some mistakes she made. We talked about some of her mistakes and some of the things that she wishes she would have done differently. In that, we talked about staying connected, even when the teen's growing up into bad choices. Um, so one of the ways that you can do that is, as hard as it is hanging out more. I mean, even though your teen's making bad choices, is saying, son, daughter, you want to go up to McDonald's, grab a bite to eat or something? Uh, and even if your teen's smoking and you totally disagree with it, you're like, why are you smoking, blah, 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 is when they're out on the back porch, go out and sit with them, even though they're making a horrible choice, and just strike up a conversation. In the interview, we talked about one day when my mom took me out on the lake. We went kayaking together, and this was during, I think I was about 13 or 14, and I was a little hellion, rebelling all over the place. Um, but I remember that day like nobody's business. It's still vividly in my mind. Um, if it's not McDonald's, share something pleasurable together. Find something your teen likes to do. Share something pleasurable, because that creates a memory, and it still tells your teen, even though they're making horrible decisions, that you still care, that you're still there with them, for them, and you love them, even though they're making those horrible decisions. And trust me, I know it's hard. Um, right now, I'm step parenting a 12-year-old, um, and he makes some bad decisions sometimes. Other times they're great, but I still have to reach out to him. I still have to, as a father, I need to let him know he's grown into a nice young man, and that we can go do pleasurable things together. Sometimes it's as simple as going and shooting hoops together because he loves basketball. Um, by sharing something pleasurable, you create a connection. And the more connections you create, uh, chances are better that your teen is going to listen to what you have to say when you're building that. So don't stop pursuing. Um, don't stop pursuing those times. Lastly, your teen's behavior, don't let it define in your mind. My mom says this all the time. Don't let your teen's behavior define in your mind the future for your teen. It's all lies. Just because how they're behaving today doesn't mean they're going to behave that way in 10 years. Doesn't mean they're going to behave that way next year. Uh, Life is crazy and has a way of working itself out. Um, so, um, I hope this answered it. I hope this answered some ways for you to continue pursuing your teen. You know your teen better than I do. So you know what they like, what they find pleasure in. Right below this video, there's a link. If you didn't get to ask a question and you'd like me and my mom to talk about it and give an answer, um, go to the link below and ask away. Thank you for taking the time to ask this question, and thank you for all you're doing parenting. And stay tuned because we got more coming your way. This is totally for you because you subscribe to everything, and this is, yeah, thank you.